But even in that heat, I felt something else, a brush against my ankle that wasn't him. When I pulled away, the water rippled unnaturally, as if something had just slipped beneath us. Aaron whispered, "Probably a fish," but his eyes didn't believe his own words.
You are listening to the Fearcast. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
It's been a year since that night at Larchwood Lake, but I still hear their voices when I close my eyes. I've spent every waking moment trying to convince myself I imagined what happened, that the things I saw were dreams. But when I saw the news this morning, the headline forced the truth back into me like cold water. 20 children's remains found in Larchwood Lake. I can't keep quiet anymore. I need to tell you what happened. I need to tell you about Aaron. It was supposed to be one perfect weekend. Me, my two best friends, Emily and Sophie, and our boyfriends, Aaron, Tyler, and Noah. We wanted one last wild summer memory before college would pull us apart. Larchwood Lake was our spot, tucked far from the city, hidden behind old pines. The first night was magical. We parked the trucks by the water and built a roaring fire. The boys brought whiskey, Sophie rolled something stronger, and before midnight, we were tangled in each other's arms beneath the wide, black sky. I remember Aaron's breath on my neck as we slipped away from the others, the cool lake breeze running fingers across my bare skin. The world shrank until there was only his body pressed against mine, his hands tracing my curves, and the pulse in my throat matching the rhythm of his kisses. The night was ours. The lake shimmered like it was approved, but it didn't. Even before we set up our tents, the place felt off. As we explored the shore, Noah dared me to swim out to the floating platform alone. I stripped down to my underwear and slipped into the water, the coolness clinging to my skin like a second layer. I could feel their eyes on me, Aaron's, Tyler's, Noah's. Every stroke through the water made my heart race, part from adrenaline, part from the thrill of being watched. When I reached the platform, Aaron swam out to join me. The moment his wet hands slid around my waist, a strange coldness bloomed inside me. We kissed, we touched, and his fingers roamed beneath the surface. But even in that heat, I felt something else, a brush against my ankle that wasn't him. When I pulled away, the water rippled unnaturally, as if something had just slipped beneath us. Aaron whispered, "Probably a fish," but his eyes didn't believe his own words. That night, in the tent, things got heated. It wasn't just passion, it was desperate, hungry, like we were racing against time. Our moans tangled with the sound of the wind in the trees, but in the pauses between our breaths, I heard something else, wet footsteps circling the tent. We laughed it off, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was out there. After we finished, Aaron drifted off, but I couldn't sleep. The night outside seemed alive. the rustle of leaves, the faint splash from the lake, and a low whispering I couldn't quite catch. I slipped out of the tent to cool off. The campfire had died down to soft embers. I walked to the edge of the lake, still buzzing from the whiskey and Aaron's touch. That's when I saw it. On the far side of the lake, where the moonlight barely reached, something stood, watching me. It was pale, its head tilted unnaturally, and its limbs were too long, almost stretched. My breath caught in my throat as it slowly walked backward into the forest, disappearing without a sound. When I turned to run back to the tent, I stumbled over something half buried in the sand, a child's shoe, soaked and covered in slime. I convinced myself it was nothing. I never told the others, not even Aaron. The next morning, he was gone. At first, we thought it was a prank. He loved scaring us, loved slipping away just to jump out from the bushes. But when his shoes, his phone, and his jacket were still by the tent hours later, panic set in. We searched the shoreline, shouting his name until our throats burned. Tyler found the trail of broken branches near the edge of the forest. That's when we saw it. Aaron's body hanging from a tree, his face pale and empty, like all the life had been sucked out of him. Sophie screamed so loud it felt like the trees shook. We rushed to him, Tyler trembling as he pulled at the rope. Aaron's neck wasn't broken. His feet scraped the bark like he had struggled, like he'd been hoisted up while still alive. I didn't want to believe it, but I saw something else, a mark on the tree. Thin ropes stretched down into the underbrush, as if someone or something had pulled from below. The boys cut him down, while Emily and I sobbed against each other. Tyler wanted to call the cops, but there was no signal. That's when we heard it, the laughter. Faint, high-pitched, like children playing in the distance. But the woods were empty. There shouldn't have been anyone else out there. That night, we stayed close to the fire, the 6-person tent zipped tight around us. I could barely breathe. In the silence, I heard footsteps circling the tent, light ones, like a child's. Noah yanked the zipper and flashed his light, but there was nothing there. Only the sound of something slipping into the lake. The next morning, we found small, wet footprints around the tent. Sophie found something else, a crumbling stone sign half buried near the shore. Larchwood Children's Home, Est 1964. There had been an orphanage here. Emily found the story online. The orphanage had been shut down after accusations that children went missing. Some say they ran away. Some say they were adopted without paperwork. But there were whispers that the children had drowned, their spirits trapped in the lake. Emily read the number aloud, 20 children. We were deep into the woods when Tyler vanished. His screams shattered the air. We ran to him, but only found his boot prints disappearing into the lake, leading to a rope that vanished beneath the surface. That night, I let Noah hold me. I needed to feel something human, something real. I pulled him to me, desperate to feel his skin against mine, even if just for a moment. In the firelight, our breaths tangled, our bodies pressed together in frantic need, as if this was our last chance. But when I woke up, Noah was gone. Emily and Sophie sat frozen by the cold ashes of the fire. Noah's trail led to the lake. A rope stretched out of the water. At the end was a soaked child's toy, a small stuffed rabbit. Emily screamed that we had to find the truth. Her theory, the spirits wouldn't let us go until we uncovered what really happened. We followed the forest deeper and found it a collapsed building swallowed by vines, the orphanage. Inside, we uncovered crumbling records, faded photographs, and beneath rotted floorboards, we found a hatch. In the cold basement, we saw them, skeletons, dozens of them, their small bones still bound by the ropes that once dragged them to the lake. Scrawled on the walls in childish handwriting were messages. They lied to us. They never let us go. The lake is their home now. As we tried to escape, the basement door slammed shut. Splashing echoed around us, though there was no water. The lights flickered. I saw small pale figures moving in the dark, their hollow eyes watching me. We burst out and ran until we found the highway. They never found Aaron, Tyler, or Noah. Only the skeletons. Even now, I hear wet footsteps in my apartment. Sometimes I see Aaron at the edge of my bed, soaked, waiting. The lake still wants me, and I don't know how long I can resist its call.